Hi, everybody. There's this whole discussion of what it means to be a creative person or not a creative person, or to be a creator in life. There are, by nature, those people who make things happen, and there are people who are waiting for things to happen. A little bit of a victim. And we all have that one way or another. But there is a concept of entitlement, of course, that we really need to be aware of. What is the real meaning of entitlement, and why does the benefit of something that we once had tend to wear down? It's like food, for an example. If you were when you're very very hungry, and you just begin to eat, so what's the most pleasure? The first bite, of course, because every bite after that is going to be less than the first one. When's the least enjoyable? It's, of course, when you get to the end. The end, when you're stuffed, you're full, you can't even breathe. That bite is far less enjoyable than the first bite when you were starving. So let's understand it, because we understand there's a number of factors here that play into it, and desire being the main idea. We know Kabbalah speaks to no end about the concept of desire, and why desire is so important, because when there is no desire, there's no life. So desire must be kept alive at all cost, because again, the only thing that has no desire is dead. When there's death, there's no more desire. Desire is what makes this world function. It makes the electron move. So how do we do that? So again, using that analogy of food, desire is at its highest peak when I'm starving. When I'm full, desire now is at its lowest peak. And that's true with all things. Our highest point of desire tends to be when we want something that we don't have. Of course, we know sometimes the unfortunate path to appreciation is losing something that we have. And of course, we would rather not take that route. But sometimes in life, let's take a relationship. We tend to appreciate a relationship very much when we really want someone, when we want to go out with them, we want to date them, and we'll make sure to do all the right things. We'll brush our teeth, we'll take our showers, we'll use lots and lots of deodorant and perfumes and colognes, and we'll be very careful. Of course, after several years of marriage, we'll turn over to the other person after not having brushed our teeth, and we'll say, hi. It could be offensive, but what happened? We take for granted. Somehow we may take for granted the other person, or we take for granted that somehow something or someone belongs to us. And the truth of the matter is, nothing could be further from the truth. The real truth of this life and this world is nothing belongs to us. Nothing can belong to us that cannot disappear in a moment. And, the Zohar is very clear in saying that a human being walks through this life thinking that the world it belongs to them and that they'll be here forever. And the real truth of the matter is, God forbid, but who knows? Who knows when their last minute would be? So we should all live and be healthy. But we don't know. And we certainly, most of us, do not live our life like it's our last moment. So how do we maintain appreciation? Because appreciation is the key. Gratitude is the key. But it's very, very difficult. In fact, one of the most difficult things in life is to maintain gratitude, to maintain appreciation, especially for things that we have, or things that we think we own. Again, it's important to keep in mind the key factor is I cannot own anything. So in Kabbalah, we know there are different stages. And we'll talk about the first stage of development and the last stage of manifestation. The first stage we call Keter, which is the stage of all the forces of desire that's around us, the energy. That's the creator light, or the cosmic universal force. And the last stage of manifestation is called Malchut, which means when we already have whatever it is that we desire. The stages in between are really all about the process by which we go from desire to having whatever it is. So between Keter, which would be the thought of having an amazing steak, and because I love steak on the barbecue, on the grill, and eating it and being stuffed that I can't breathe anymore, that's the Malchut. So we understand what we're saying here. How do we stay in that place of desire? That's the key. Staying in the place of desire. If we want to continuously enjoy things, and of course, food, and there's a couple of other things which are more difficult to deal with on that level because they are physical. But even food, which causes problems when we don't resist the desire to fulfill ourselves and own it beyond our means, does cause problems, right? There's so many food-related issues in life, whatever they may be. So when we constantly tell ourselves, no, I don't own this thing. No, this doesn't belong to me. And treat it that way, very difficult. Treat the person that you're with like you just met them for the first time. How would you treat them? How would you greet them? Would you be tired of them already? Would you be tired of listening to them? Would you be tired of looking at them? Would you be tired of smelling them? Work. How do you act on your first day of work? Oh, what a drag. My boss, he's such a pain in the neck. Is that the way you would, we would go to our first day at work? Of course not. We'd be fired the first day. So the key, and again, the key lesson is not to fall into thinking two things: that we own it or we deserve better. The entitlement now also comes in, because when we begin to get tired of something, it's an indication also that entitlement has come in. Entitlement means I deserve more than I have. Now, this is a tricky idea, because it's not to say that we should not always strive for more. Certainly we should. We should always strive for more. But at the same time, King David said, praiseworthy is one who is satisfied with his portion. That's absolutely true. But it doesn't mean that we should just be happy to stay with the status quo. So that's why I say it's tricky. We need to want more, and at the same time be completely appreciative of what we have at the same time. So we need to have goals. We need to be able to look forward. We need to be able to see that there's definitely more out there for me. But the paradox is, one of the ways to get there is to be totally appreciative of now, because the present is the reality. We have to also live in the present and be totally appreciative of what's going on right now, and to know that whatever I'm going through now is for a reason. In fact, the now is to help me get to the next step forward. If I don't act in the now appropriately, it's going to be very, very difficult to move forward. You have to be where you are first before you can get to where you'd like to go. So let's try always to remember that. Entitlement means my plan is better than what the universe knows is better for me. But I have my own ideas which I think might be better. Or I just don't trust it. Or whatever the reason might be, it's a matter of getting ourselves to that place, because entitlement also takes so many different forms. So let's try to remember that appreciation and non-ownership of anything, certainly people, things, anything, ideas, we don't own them. They don't belong to us. In fact, the more we're willing to let go, the further we can move forward. Thanks very much.